Hi, I'm Mary Osborne, the 7th and 8th grade social studies teacher at Mountain View Elementary. This grant, Involve Me and I'll Learn, is focused on student-centered lessons and involving students as they create a way to teach themselves and their classmates. So student-centered lessons where students are in control of teaching their classmates is something I've used every year in my class. And I've always wished I had a way to keep the extraordinary lessons for years to come. This grant made that possible. I purchased many iPads so that students could document their lessons. Knowing that students learn most when they are involved and so many light bulb moments occur, I wanted a way to preserve these moments for students that were possibly absent during the presentations or for me to be able to use the next year. Students were given a topic to teach, for example, the Bill of Rights. Each group was given an amendment and they had an iPad. They could either pre-record their presentation or record their presentation as they were giving it to the class. Either way was up to them. This really helped students that have a hard time speaking in front of the class because they knew that they could record it with their group and then present it, and that helped them with their confidence. Student learning was impacted in many ways. They took ownership in their assignment. They knew that it was their presentation. They were in full creative control. They knew that if speaking in front of the class was a problem, that they could work their way up with the different lessons that we did. It also motivated them to stay on task. They knew that they had to, at the end of the day, create this presentation to teach their classmates about their amendment and in a way that they would retain it and learn it for the test. So every student stayed involved and they knew that it was something that they could create and become successful. It was them taking ownership and pride in their lesson. I found out that student learning from student-led lessons was very impactful and beneficial. I gave each class a quiz over the Bill of Rights. And the class that usually gets around a B average, once they took their Bill of Rights quiz, they received an A average as a class. But the class that impressed me the most was a class that usually had around a C average on their tests. They took the quiz and they received an A average as a class. So the improvement, automatically, I thought it was because it was student-driven lessons, student-led lessons. But once talking to some of my students, they said having the ability to watch the videos over, to be able to see and connect a student with an amendment. Like, for example, if Matthew did the Second Amendment, when students took the quiz, they would read about the Second Amendment and then link that to Matthew's presentation. So overall, I feel like this grant helped my students to become more, to have more ownership in their lesson because they knew it was going to be recorded and we would watch it. And so that took out the possibility of any, wasting time or putting anything in there that wasn't beneficial for learning. They had ownership and pride. And that's something that with this grant, I feel like was possible because I was able to give them a platform to record and reuse their lessons that they taught to class.